talking about Genesis chapter 20, and unfortunately, Abraham lies again. He lies in a similar manner to that he lied before. And it says in verse 1, "And Abraham journeyed from there to the south and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur and stayed at Gerar. Now Abram said of Sarah, his wife, 'She is my sister.' And Abimelech, the king of Gerar, sent for and took Sarah." Now, Abraham journeyed from where he was to the south. After the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham moved, probably because it smelt bad. Perhaps he didn't want to live in the hills overlooking the destroyed region for any length of time. And be reminded of those people and of the judgment that came upon them. But Abraham said here, she's my sister. Abraham's concern was probably not because she looked like a young beauty, even at the age of 90. We can surmise that she was reasonably attractive, even at that age. But more importantly, she was connected to one of the richest and most influential men in the region, Abraham. In that day, a harem was sometimes more a political statement than a romantic statement. At the same time, we should not ignore the idea of Sarah's continued attractiveness in old age. She had, in some measure, been physically rejuvenated in order to conceive, bear, and nurse Isaac. And possibly this manifested itself as well in a renewed beauty as well. We don't know how that all happened, but let's be realistic, it did. When he says she is my sister, that is the same lie that Abraham told back in Genesis chapter 12. He showed that it was easy to slip back into the old sinful habit. So as Christians, we've got to remember that. It's easy to fall back and do what we did before. Abraham stumbled in a place that he had stumbled before. Instead of trusting God to keep his family together, he devised his own plan to do it. And his plan would completely fail. Yeah, you see, age doesn't necessarily make us wise, does it? Unless he yielded to the Spirit, we will repeat in our old age the sinful patterns of our youth. Sometimes we even get really good at doing a particular sin. It's like we practice it. It goes on, and we're going to talk about the God threatening judgment on Abimelech for taking Sarah, even though we didn't even know what was going on. He says in verse 3, "But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, 'Indeed, you are a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken. She is a man's wife.' But Abimelech had not come near her and said, 'Lord, will you slay a righteous nation also? Did he not say to me, she is my sister? And she, even she herself, has said, he is my brother. The integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands, I have done that.' And God said to him in a dream, 'Yes, I know that you did this in integrity of heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore, I did not let you touch her. Now, therefore, restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pay for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours.'" This is a really hard passage, isn't it? This is really hard to come to grips with. Notice it says, "You are indeed a dead man." This is a scary thing to hear from God, even in a dream. But the point is being made that even though Abimelech was not aware of what was going on, the sin possibility is there. Even though he could say truly he acted with integrity and innocence and nothing happened, God's saying, hey, there's consequences. And this may seem drastic, but something important is here. Suppose Abimelech had taken Sarah and God had not intervened, then 2 seeds would have been at the door of Sarah's womb. And to this day, an element of doubt would cling to the ancestry of our Lord. Think about that. Think about that. We are positive of the line of Jesus. I know that you did this thing in the integrity of your heart. Because Abimelech's heart was right in this regard, God kept him from a worse sin. Now, God's protecting power can even guide a pagan king. Remember that God's protecting is also sometimes stopping us from sinning. Despite Abraham's failure to rely and trust in God in this situation, God didn't abandon him. He would not let Abimelech touch Sarah. Yeah. Her womb was going to bring forth the son of promise, who would eventually bring forth God's Messiah. God would not leave this plan up to an indiscretion of man. Notice too, God actually points out to Abimelech that Abraham's a prophet and he will pray for you. Even though Abraham was in sin, he was still a prophet and a man of powerful prayer. We've got to be realistic that God's chosen men or man can make mistakes, but they still have ministry to do. God's mercy and blessing did not leave Abraham, even though he didn't trust God the way that he should.